Howdy, happy Wednesday afternoon. How are you doing today? We are having quite a winter meltdown here in North Texas. It's chilly, 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 and we were hoping for snow, but no snow. I'm looking at my window. No snow, but very, very, very chilly. So I'm excited to come to you for our little mini series here on choosing life. I think it's because I have been in this season for myself that I just can't help but just share with you what God's teaching me, because I'm that type of person who just loves to bring everybody along. Let's learn these things because they're valuable tools. And why do it alone? Let's share what God's doing. So Sharon Kane here, mother of 7. I love all things healthy, wellness, natural, DIY, gardening. Well, I'm kind of starting to garden. I'm finally starting to be a successful gardener. So married to my best friend for 29 years. It's crazy. So I have my coffee here. Remember, I've told you before, we're just sitting here chatting as if we're having coffee or tea, sharing life. So these are the couple things that have been on my mind, and I felt God prompting me to jump on and just share. And I hope it's of value to you. If not, just scroll by and don't be bored, I guess. So along the lines of choosing life, I am continuously being impacted, encouraged, challenged. Just challenged, I guess, would be probably the best word, is my thoughts. My thoughts make me or break me. My thoughts help me to choose life or to choose death. My thoughts help me to live in line with truth or live and accept and believe and act upon lies. Lies bring destruction. Living in truth, thinking in truth, taking control of my thoughts, life. So along those veins, I'm just going to share a few things. So yesterday and today, actually, I am so thankful that God is helping me more and more to see my thought patterns are taking me down to just like grumpy or just not feeling as motivated. And God has given me some goals as I've sought Him. I think I mentioned that before. What does the season look like? What does this year look like? What should I be doing these days as I'm setting goals and dreaming? And I've spent time set aside to really try to think through this. God, what do you have for me? What's your destiny and purpose for me? Because He does. He has a purpose for us. And He says, where there's no vision, the people perish. And I've not been good about having a specific vision. I mean, I want to love God. I want to know Him. I want to grow closer to Him. Yay. I want to be a good mom. I want to be a good wife. Yay. But where there's no vision, the people perish. And listening to some different people and the things that God's been bringing apart of my thinking and across my path, when I get serious about having a vision, then I get serious about taking steps towards that. So, if you have like a dartboard and you're shooting darts at it, you're going to know I'm shooting darts at this board. But if you don't have the dartboard and you're just shooting darts, well, you don't know if you hit it or not. So that's kind of the thinking along this line. So I've been realizing as I've sought God that I have specific things that He wants me to do, and I have to get these done before I can do this. So one of those things is decluttering my home, like just really looking at everything. Does it bring me joy? The Marie Cordo, whatever her last name is, type of mindset, just really moving stuff out, because I tend to think, oh, I may need this in 20 years, keep it. No, get rid of it. And that's even a little bit of a poverty mindset. So that's kind of icky too. So trying to deal with all those roots, root it out, clean it out, which means my outer as well as my inner world. So as I've been trying to declutter, it's very overwhelming. I am not a naturally organized person. I'm a natural person who wants to have fun, fly by the seat of my pants, and just do the fun thing and not necessarily do the responsible thing. So there's a balance to that. So I have been having this kitchen table full of clutter, not completely full, but you walk in our front door and there's the kitchen table. And every time I look at it, I would just kind of be like, oh, that table's awful. And I know my husband would prefer it to not be like that. I know to him that's a little overwhelming. So yesterday I was in the afternoon, I was just kind of like, oh, I just want to take a nap. I'm not real tired, but it's just really chilly, and just go cuddle in bed and just be lazy, which is fine. There's a place for that, but I wasn't tired. I was just, and I knew I had these things I needed to do that God has been helping me to stay focused on, and I wasn't. I was going to just kind of go avoid. So I said, no, I am not taking a nap. I sat at the computer and got some recipes for dinner. So it was a little rest. And then I did the kitchen table. Like it literally only took me maybe 15 minutes. And then I put a tablecloth on it. And oh my goodness, every time I walk by that table now, I just feel great. And I was kind of beating myself up with that because seeing it and just not doing it was a negative. It was like sucking some life out of me because it just needed to be done. And then today, let me look here at my notes real quick because I don't want to forget my things because I just get off and, oh, I was so kind of, I got up early-ish, was doing my things, having some distractions, but I was starting to beat myself up, which is like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting anything done. I didn't get as long of a time with God, and I didn't do this, and all of a sudden, thank you, Jesus, I stopped myself, and I was like, no, I have done a lot this morning. I got up earlier than I usually do. The bed was made as soon as I got out of it. I did some exercise. I did some Bible time. I did kind of like watering my plants and made Mark's smoothie and, just kind of the busy basics of the morning. And I can't remember other stuff. And finally I was like, no, that was like self-criticism. That wasn't even based on truth. It was literally lies. And I was believing it because it wasn't perfect, or I wasn't getting through my 10 things to do by noon. So I was like, oh my word, this is seriously like a that self chatter, that self talk that really matters. It makes us or breaks us because what we think in here is what we believe and what we live. So I stopped, thank you, Jesus. And I was like, oh my word, I have gotten a lot of stuff done. I have made huge strides. I am doing good and I have more to do. But it was just like that little bit of a crossover when I could identify that I was kind of being harassed. And it says that Satan is the accuser of the brethren in Revelation. So he was giving all these accusations, and actually that wasn't the truth at all. So that was pretty exciting. So I thought, okay, so I'm making headway, talking to myself in truth. And yes, I have more things to do today. But oh my goodness, I've gotten a lot done, and just kind of twisted the tables because guess what? The thoughts, feelings, and emotions that we think, this is so mind blowing for me. And I'm telling you, as the more God reminds me and I realize it in my days, my thinking, my patterns here, it's crazy because guess what? Thoughts, emotions, and feelings are liars. Just because you think something, just because you feel something, and just because a certain emotion is present does not mean that's who you are. Guess who we are? We are a child of God. Guess who we are? We are made in his image. Guess who we are? We are righteous and holy because of his blood in our lives and his work in our lives, of who he is. We aren't, our actions do not define us. Who we are defines us. And man, if you grab onto that, that is the deal changer. I can't even believe, as I catch my thinking more, get to a deeper level, pulling out some different roots. It's crazy. It is so freeing because my behavior is not who I am. I am who God says I am. There's actually a song, if you want to look it up, with Bethel Music on YouTube. You can look it up. I am no victim, and that is one of my favorite songs. But we are who he says he is. That not what we feel, because our feelings don't matter. They really don't matter. So they will lead us down roads. They will lead us into thinking that isn't true. And how sad is that? And I've thought this just over different seasons of my life, to get to heaven and see Jesus and see God and be like, oh, I had a wrong view of myself all this time. And oh, I could have had your rest. I could have had your peace. That's just, I really believe that's going to be a reality. We women drive ourselves so hard, and we beat ourselves up. We just, any little thoughts or things that come along that are negative, we're so quick to, oh yeah, kind of follow it. But so that's my challenge today. That's where I'm at, is thoughts, feelings, and emotions are liars. Do not listen to them. Cast them down. What does God say about you? Talk to him. Ask him. Like I've been really starting some good disciplines to help myself be more focused and get more done and be more productive, but in parameters that are more healthy, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to give you couple things that I've been trying to implement since that conference, because it was so wonderful, her morning routine that she mentioned. And this is, of course, going to be specific to your situation and your season of life. When I had little children, this was a lot harder to do because they wake up when you don't expect or too early, and then it can kind of throw you off. But it's the type of mindset is, I'm going to start here and I'm just going to keep working in blocks of time until I get to where I need to, whatever I can get done that day. But there's flexibility for those younger years when the kiddos are needing food and they're needing to be changed and are needing to be dressed. I mean, they can't do it themselves. You're completely the sole provider. But in my season, I have a little bit more freedom right now. And she was just sharing, and I've been incorporating blocks of time, like 20 minutes of Bible, 20 minutes of journal dream time, 30 minutes walking, and that is such a great time on my treadmill or elliptical, whatever you do. If you maybe you're a jogger, is my time to pray and declare my affirmations of who I am, who I'm declaring into my children's lives, and just other people that God has on my mind. So I'm doing my prayer time and affirmation time while I'm exercising. That's kind of killing two birds with one stone. I don't know, for me, that just really works well. And I have praise music going, I'm worshiping, I'm singing, I'm crying out to God. Sometimes it gets kind of loud in there. And I'm glad I'm by myself because if I was in a gym, well, I'll be glad you're doing something, but you can't really yell out in the gym. But in my garage, I can. And so I have cried out and had tears of joy and sorrow as I'm bearing my soul to God and declaring things that I'm trusting Him to do. So this has been amazingly freeing. I can't even tell you how amazing it is, because before I would be journaling for too long or I would be reading for too long. But now I am doing the 20 minutes Bible time, 20 minutes journal dreaming, 30 minutes exercise, and I actually do some other stuff, so it's more than 30 minutes. But and then reading a book. I have wanted to read so many books, and at night I'm too tired. We're busy up until bed, and then it's time for bed. But for me, I've been incorporating a little bit of reading time in the morning and on a topic that I've wanted to learn more about in my health and wellness aspect, to kind of delve into some new areas. And it's been so awesome. It's like I'm getting so much done, and I set the timer. So that's my parameter, and it helps me stay focused and helps me get lots of things done. And it's not that I read the whole book in one day, but I read for 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever you got. You're still making progress. And if you figure 10 minutes a day times, say, 6 days a week, that's an hour a week, so 4 hours a month. Were you doing that before? I wasn't reading anything. So it's like amazing, freeing, liberating thing to break it up. And I have it on my phone, the timer, so I can have it with me and then go on to the next thing. So that's been amazing resource. So those are my thoughts for today. And I just agree with you that you are going to choose life, that you're going to choose to line your thoughts with heaven. And I just pray that you will be able to see the deception in our thinking so that you can deal with it and change the thoughts so that it's bringing you life. So God bless you. Have a great rest of the day.